Connecting to a remote server with Quick Connect in FileZilla. This demo assumes you already have FileZilla running on your computer. Now let's learn how to connect to a remote server using Quick Connect. Quick Connect is a quick and easy way to connect to a server that you may only be connecting to once or twice. If you'll be connecting to this server on a regular basis, you'll probably want to set it up in FileZilla's Site Manager, as it will remember the login credentials. To log in using Quick Connect, start by entering your host name here. Then enter the username and password for the account. Unless otherwise instructed, leave the port number blank, then click Quick Connect. That's it! We've successfully connected to our remote server using FileZilla. You can see the contents of the remote server here on the right. To disconnect from the remote server when you're finished, click the disconnect icon here. That's all there is to it. You can see from the message here that we are now disconnected from the server. Setting up a connection in FileZilla's Site Manager. Now let's learn how to set up a connection using Site Manager. Click the Site Manager icon here. With Site Manager, you can save remote server login information for multiple sites or servers, and even organize them into folders. Let's set up a new site in the Demo Sites folder. Click New Site. Then give the new site a name. Enter the host name for the new site here. Then select the protocol and encryption type you wish to use. Select Normal for your login type, then enter your remote server's username and password. Once everything is set up, click OK. That's it! The connection has been saved in Site Manager. Now let's check to make sure it works. To connect to this saved connection using Site Manager, click the drop-down arrow next to the Site Manager icon. Click Demo Sites, since that's where we put our new connection. Then click the server name we just set up. That's it! We've successfully connected to the remote server by using the shortcut we created in Site Manager. To disconnect from the remote server when you're finished, click the disconnect icon here. How to change file and folder permissions using FileZilla. Now let's learn how to change file permissions, something you often have to do to define whether files are readable, writable, and executable. First, locate the file on the remote server for which you want to change the permissions. Right-click the file you want to change the permissions for, then click File Permissions. Make the adjustments to the read, write, and execute permissions you need, then click OK. Notice the numeric value of the permissions is automatically updated. You could have also just entered the permissions here. That's it! The permissions for this file have been changed, as you can see here. You can also change the permissions of folders in the same way. Let's go ahead and update the folder permissions for this folder. Right-click the folder, then update the permissions. That's it! Permissions for the folder have been updated. How to upload files using FileZilla. Now let's learn how to upload files to a remote server. First, navigate to the remote folder where you want to upload the files. Locate and select the file in the left window, your local computer. Then click and drag it over to the right window, the remote server. That's it. The file has been uploaded to the remote server. How to download files using FileZilla. Now let's learn how to download files from a remote server. First, locate the file on the remote server that you want to download. Then click and drag it to the left window, your local computer. That's it. The file has been downloaded to your computer. Configuring your settings in FileZilla. Now let's learn how to configure our settings. Click Edit, then click Settings. This is the Settings window, where you can configure many things that will help you customize FileZilla for your own use. In the Connection section, you can adjust the maximum number of retries if a connection fails and the time between them. In the FTP section, you can select active or passive transfer modes or set the FTP proxy details. In the Transfer section, you can set the maximum number of simultaneous transfers and limits for concurrent downloads and uploads. You can also enable speed limits. You can set the default transfer type to auto, ASCII, or binary from the File Types section, and the File Exists action section allows you to tell FileZilla what to do in the event a download or upload file already exists. The Interface section is where you can set your preferred theme and layout, define the visual position of the logs, and modify the date and time format. You can set your default language, set your default file editor, and set how often FileZilla checks for updates. The Logging section allows you to create a log, while the Debug section is where you can define the level of debugging. This is the end of the tutorial. You now know how to configure your settings in FileZilla.